PGA European Tour is brought to you by Volvo.
Hello and a warm welcome to today's third round coverage of the Johnnie Walker Classic. This week's event, the curtain raise of the 1996 PGA European Tour, which launches its programme of Volvo ranking tournaments, ending with the Volvo Masters at Valderrama in Spain in October. And along with the leading European stars playing in Singapore this week at the southern tip of the Malaysian peninsula are Greg Norman, the world's #1, Freddie Couples, the defending champion, and Ernie Els, winner last week in his home country. The course this week is the beautiful garden course at the Tanah Country Club, just over 7,000 yards, and a real sporty par 72. Well, play over the first 2 days has been marred by tropical downpours, but it didn't stop Els, the world's #3, from keeping his run of good form going. He opened with 2 67s, finishing yesterday with a birdie and an eagle to top the leaderboard at 10 under par, and just one shot behind Ollie Carlson with the opening 66 on day 1. Paul Eales from Royal Lytham, just a further shot back, and Ian Woosnam and Fred Couples one further back than that. Well, as play got underway in the third round, it was Els who hadn't dropped a shot to par in 2 days, suddenly made 3 bogeys in a row from the third to the fifth as he dropped shots. It was the Scottish Open champion Wayne Riley who started with 3 birdies in the first 4 to be out in 32, 4 under par, and that catapulted him to the top of the leaderboard by the time he'd reached the 14th hole. So Riley at 12 under, Bradley Hughes, well, he opened with a 66 also on day 1. He was at 10 under, and Woosnam continuing with that good form, and he was along with them. John Daly, well, can't keep a good man down. He was in with 69, so really not out of this tournament yet. But we rejoin the action on the day 3 with the man of the moment, the man who's living the life of Riley. That's Wayne. And that for a birdie on the 15th hole. Well, would have been for a birdie on the 15th had he made it. We've got him to 9 under par for the par 5s. So he remains at 12 under. Woosy's been in a spot of bother. This to save par. Couples has a practice swing. Nasty left to right. But no trouble there. And Woozy finding some form on the greens once again. Pulled a couple of very good putts yesterday. Just one that got away near the end of the round on 17. And long approach putt there by Ernie Els, and well, didn't need much more for him to get it in the hole, but Els just dropping back a little. He at 11 under. Paul Curry, outside chance, I suppose, for a birdie. Big swinging putt this, left to right. He started the day at 8 under. Now at 10. Look at this ball move from left to right. Oh, hello, hello. Well, I did say an outside chance for a birdie, but, well, no wonder that brings a smile to his face. So Eales now just one behind Wayne Riley of Australia. And things really bubbling along very nicely in this event. That will certainly give Eddie Birchenough room to cheer. Riley on the 16th, shortest par 4 on the course, and just a little sand iron pitch for him. And getting the ball to sit down pretty quick. A little bit of backspin, not seen too much of that on these holes. It's players getting the ball to spear into the greens. As I said earlier, we've had tropical rains marring this event, so it's real target golf. Couples standing at his usual way, very open, almost looks as if he's aiming well to the left, picks it up quite steeply, drops the club back on the inside. And exquisite. Lovely touch then by Freddie Couples. And last man in the trio, Ian Woosnam. Temperatures here, as you can see, well in the 90s. Humidity very high. And that shot right over the top of the flagstick, but just a touch firm by Ian. Now Paul Curry, he started at 6 under, reached the 17th. 5 under is for the round, 10 under for the tournament. Well, he is now. And quite a sparkling putt there across the 17th green. Playing with him, Bradley Hughes, leader in the first round. This for a par-saving putt. So, bogey for him. Woosnam said after his round yesterday that he's really got the feel coming back into his game. Starts to feel that he's confident at knowing where the ball's going, and it's the best he's felt on the golf course for a very long time. Not only that, he is getting back to friendly terms with the putter, and has a good opportunity here on 16 to maybe grab one back. That's what he's got to do. And you can see the green's not particularly quick here, fairly even pace, but lots of nap, lots of borrow. And just as I was saying, that's the touch that he's beginning to find on the greens now, and that's what we've been waiting for some time. So Woosnam creeps up the leaderboard. So he joins Eales, one behind this man. On his first event on the European Tour last year, the Scottish Open, beating Faldo and Monty for the title, and that will stay dear to his heart. Been a good journeyman pro for a number of years. Eventually pulled off an elusive first win, and certainly renowned for his aggression. Won a number of times in Australia. 91 Australian Open, and quite a few other events, but last year that he really bounced into world renown with that win in Scotland. So he got off to a fast start today. 3 birdies in the first 4 holes, dropped one on the third. Did birdie 8 and 9 out in 32. Got a birdie on the 11th. So the little Australian absolutely flying. Actually, I wouldn't like to call him little to his face. Ernie Els on the 15th, laid up. This his 3rd shot. And Ernie looking a little bit more strained than he's been on the first 2 days. And it shows a little bit why hasn't quite got the same touch that he showed in the opening 2 rounds. That's Couples, that's his birdie on the 16th after his glorious second shot. So Couples now moves to 11 under. So the field amassing behind Riley. And Eales, that's his 3rd shot to the 15th, and well, can he make it 2 birdies in a row? But the top of the leaderboard, it's Riley, followed by Couples, Woosnam and Eales, all at 11. Curry going on also quite nicely, and Ernie Els trailing at 10 under. But certainly don't rule him out. So we'll take a short break. We can make sure that you join us in a few moments. See you in just a few moments after these. And welcome back to the garden course at the Tanah Merah Country Club here in Singapore. It's the 3rd round of the Johnnie Walker Classic. And on the tee on the 17th, Freddie Couples. A good opportunity to have a look at this free-flowing swing face on. Notice no left-hand grip. Needs to be hitting this down the left-hand side over the water. There's bunkers down the right. And today cut quite friendly position at the back edge of the green. And well, Freddie just in that one get away a little bit to the right-hand side. He, of course, winner of the Masters in '92, and Woozy, winner of the Masters in '91, so he was presenting Couples the winning green jacket. And that in the ideal spot down the left-hand side. Good position to open up the green. Hole today playing just a little bit into the breeze, and Woozy discussing with his caddy next sort of shot he's got to face. And no laying back with that one for Wayne Riley. A little bit of forward movement in it, but that's right down the middle of the fairway. And back on the 15th after that fine third shot, Eales. This opportunity to tie Riley. Ooh. Well, just crept in the back door on the right-hand side, but that won't worry him. That's 2 birdies in a row, and that ties Eales at the top of the leaderboard. And I wonder what's going through this man's mind. This was off tape a few minutes ago. Eales' birdie attempt from the front edge of the green. And the par 5s, which he played so well yesterday, not yielding the birdies. But when he won the South African Open last week, he shot 74 in the third round, came back with a 66, so he certainly has the mental capabilities of withstanding a slightly poorish third round. But holes still to go for him. Now Riley, second to the 17th. Got to steady himself a little bit. Just a little bit of light breeze into his face, swirling around. Not much to cause these players too many problems, but I want to make sure you hit it in a lull. Well, not quite sure why that skidded through. Maybe just trying to squeeze it out a little bit low, but didn't get the spin that he was looking for. May have caught it just a tad thin, but it's not where he wanted it to finish, and that's going to leave him an awkward little pitch from the back of the green. Beautiful, smooth, flowing swing from the Welshman. You too, just dragging it off the left edge. Maybe that breeze just fooling them a little bit there. You can see Woozy saying, well, maybe it's a bit more across than I thought. Into the breeze. Couples dug at it a little bit, deep divot. Always a sign that it's not going to fly the way you want it to. So he's up a little bit short. And Anthony Painter, birdie attempt, 67-70. First 2 rounds, 137, 7 under. No bogeys in his round today. And just taps in for his part. So Painter going along quite well, 10 under, and in fairly exalted company. Certainly the £100,000 first prize do him no harm at all. Paul Curry's reached the 18th green, but has a long putt to save par. A little bit of problems off the tee. And always a sad way to finish. Still round of 69. And certainly that'll do Paul no harm. Just disappointing that last hole. Riley. Tough little pitch from the back of the green in quite thickish grass. Just gone through the apron of the green, and he'll be trying to work out how the ball's going to come out, whether it's going to pop or sit down softly. Oh, they seem to stab it a little. Yes, and it's never easy to know. Just decelerated a little bit through the ball, caught a little bit too much grass before it, and just beginning to struggle on this one. Bradley Hughes, first round leader. This is to save par as well on the 18th. So Hughes finishes bogey, and that'll be round in 70 for him. 8 under par, certainly not out of it yet, but like Curry, not the way to finish. Third round, so important for the players to make sure they keep in contention. So important for this man to keep his composure. Good shot to the 16th, out with the lob wedge. His most lofted pitching club, 60 degree. Yes, handsome. Makes it look very easy. He and Couples so effortless in their swings. Eales, good solid player, but slightly more contrived. Good line to his swing. Very economical. Now up ahead on 17, can Riley save par? He can, and he seems to have done that so well all day. Hold out the pressure putts. That certainly keeps him on track. Certainly with Eales at 12 under, he doesn't want to concede any ground. That win in Scotland certainly toughened him up. He's a pretty tough character to start with. Now Woozy. Had such a poor year last year, finished 65th, only won 127,000 on the Order of Merit. Still, he was Gallagher's pick for the Ryder Cup. And didn't he do well with Rocker? And what a good half he had with Couples. But that wasn't a good putt. Certainly one of his more tentative ones. Putted well this week when he's hit it quite aggressively at the hole. Now Eales, can he make it 3 in a row? Certainly enjoying the heat out here. Sure all the players at the Hurst Golf Club, where I've come from today, would like it like this. Not cold and damp. They're getting ready for their big sale. Starts tomorrow. But that's not in the thought of Paul Eales, who's out here trying to win a golf tournament. So is this man. Freddie Couples, 3-putted the 18th yesterday. But no mistake there. So Couples remains at 11 under, and it's all pretty tight at the top of the leaderboard. Eales and Riley at 12. Couples at 11. So Couples and Woosnam keeping in touch. Make sure you keep in touch. Rejoin us in a few moments to see more coverage of the Johnnie Walker Classic. Hello and welcome back to this, the third round coverage of the Johnnie Walker Classic here in Singapore, and this one of the Asian players, Moe, just finishing up on the 18th. One of the 12 Asians to be playing the last round here, gaining all more valuable experience alongside some of the best players in the world. And he slips back a little bit to 4 under par with that round of 74, playing with Zayo Aoki, 53-year-old, who plays mostly now on the US Seniors Tour in the States. This is how he finished on the 18th just a few moments ago. And how about that? 53 years of age, 7 under par, and still contesting this tournament. Hold a few more of those tomorrow. Some of the better players better watch out. Can Els even, not Eels. Els follow suit? He can. And that's more like the putting touch of Ernie. Eighteenth tee shot for Ian Woosnam. Bunkers down the right, water on the left. Slight dogleg, and that's, well, on the way to the water, but I think that's going to stop short in the galleries, so he should still be able to reach the green. No problems there. This hole second hardest on the course. Green surrounded by water, but really as it's being played downwind, and has played downwind for most of this week, not too many problems for the players of this caliber. Certainly more important to hit the fairway. And Couples carrying that ridge, getting it onto the downslopes, which certainly shortened his second shot. Els, tee shot on 16. Better rhythm. So he got off to such a poor start today. And when you start making bogeys 3 in a row, you wonder what's happening. Very hard to get your concentration back after that. This man had no problem with his concentration. Marvellous eagle on the second hole. Only birdied the 6, but managed to get out in 34. Only birdied 10. So he'll only managing to go along very nicely. Good tee shot there by Riley on the 18th hole. And certainly not been overawed by playing with Couples and Woosnam. And as Painter prepares to putt on the 17th, you can hear the sound of pitter-patter. And that's the rain. And providing we don't get any thunder, play at least should continue. Still very warm out here, even when it does rain. But so hard to keep with the concentration. No, he's not caught up with Couples on 18 yet, as he prepares to play his second. Crisp little 8-iron shot. Very nice, hole high. You can see the wind just fluttering a little bit, maybe as that storm just finds its way over the 17th and 18th holes here at the Garden Course. Couples, who's 5th on the all-time money winners in the States with just over $7 million. Career money leaders being led, of course, by Greg Norman with just over $9.5 million. Not a bad way to earn a living. So, can Riley have one more good swing? Squeeze one more birdie out of this round. All pars since the 11th. Ooh. And a fine shot there on 18. So who knows? Maybe a birdie finish coming up for him. And first glimpse of Andrew Coltart on the 17th. He, one of the members of the winning Alfred Dunhill Cup team, with teammates Sam Torrance and Colin Montgomery. Carlson just tapping in his putt. As we move back, or move up, to the 18th hole. Freddie Couples got off to a blistering start last year on the European Tour. Won the first two events, the Dubai Desert Classic. £75,000 he won there, and followed it up by winning this, the Johnnie Walker Classic. It was played in Manila, £100,000. So in the first 2 weeks, just a cool 175,000. And I'm sure he'd like to repeat his win here. So this for a birdie on the 18th. A little bit of rush of blood there. As Eels fairly long way back on the 17th, coming over that right-hand bunker. And that's more of a 4 or 5 iron for him. Pretty long punt coming up as well. Riley. Turned pro back in 1982. And having putted so well, just let that one slip away a little bit on the green, a little bit on the slope. Never easy for right-handers, the left to right putts. Had to hit it just on or outside the edge of the hole. And just under-hit it a little bit. Couples, well, he's seen how the ball's gone past the hole, but needs to hole this. Well, always frightens the life out of me when players do that, but that's a round of 69 by Couples, and I'm sure he'd like to whack the ball off the 18th green, but needs to keep his composure. Rather disappointing just to drop that shot on the last hole, his only drop shot of the day. But round in 69 nevertheless. 2 shots back now from Wayne Riley and Paul Eales, who's still on the course. So not that far back, but certainly didn't want to give one away there. Woozy for his part. And that's more like it. Confidently holds, so he also round in 69. And staying in touch with Couples. He at 10 under, but 6 birdies, 3 bogeys. And that's really told the story of his week this week. Nearly 30 bogeys all over the place for Woosnam. As long as he can continue doing that, and he'll be in with a shout. You can see the way Riley started today, as I mentioned earlier, to be out in 32. String of pars coming home, but that's a good, solid 67. He's second of the tournament, second in succession, and really earned his place at the top of the leaderboard. And a man out of the course doing pretty well, Richard Boxall. He's got a chance of winning the Johnnie Walker course record, £3,000. That's currently hot favourite, Robert Willis. He shot 65 yesterday. And if Boxall can make a birdie over the closing holes on his front 9, or the front nine of the course, his back nine, well then he may win that £3,000 Johnnie Walker course record. We shall have to wait and see as Eales putts from the front of the 17th. And the umpires signalled a wide, I think, there. And that's the difficulty of putting on grainy greens, going up the hill, certainly with moisture on it. And he had the opportunity of going to school on Ells's putt. This was Els a few moments ago. And you don't often see two players of this type of calibre hit putts quite like that, and he hit it off the green. So with putts like that, I wonder what's going through Carlson's mind. Probably wondering whether there's a hole on the green. Bit of swing from right to left. Nelson out in 38, couple over par. Birdied 12 and bogeyed 12, birdied 15, so still 2 over for his round. Just falling back a little. And not falling back, Painter, his second to the 18th. Really solid looking swing. Certainly knows how to wield the club. That was a good line of swing there by Painter. Now Els, this to save par. Els seemed to strike it nicely. Seemed to hit it on the line that he wanted to. But you can see the lines of scorn on his face. Things just a little bit tense. And you just have days like this when things just don't seem to go your way. Now, Darren Clarke, as I mentioned earlier, finished very well last week in the Malaysian Open. Just missed out on a tie. Finished in 3rd place. This is his second shot to the 18th. And don't rule him out. Eales, can he save par? He can. Well done. So he stays at the top of the leaderboard at 12 under. And Carlson, well, also struggling with that. So as players finish on the 17th, it's Riley and Eales at the top of the leaderboard, Couples and Woosnam just a shot behind, with Painter coming up on the 18th hole. More exciting golf in a few moments after these. And welcome back to this, the 3rd round of the Johnnie Walker Classic. The Garden course. And this is the beautiful 18th green. And Wayne Riley there, just having a word with BBC.
Find a good break later, but you don't think about that sort of thing. All you do is just go out and do your best, and hopefully you're on top of the leaderboard come Sunday.
Well, Wayne Riley still seems in confident mood going into the last round. I'm sure he won't worry who's there with him at the top of the leaderboard. He'll go out and be as aggressive as ever. Coulthard on the 18th. This to get to 9 under, and that to get to 9 under he does. Well, quite beautifully holed by Coulthard. And he finished 4th last year in this event. They say horses for courses. Maybe he's coming good again. Gallery's really enjoying the golf here this week. as always, of very high caliber. And that, once again, just in case you missed it, the putt that got Andrew Coulthard to 9 under par back in 33. And had a good finishing stretch. So maybe he's starting to play himself into some form. Anthony Painter. Say not made a bogey all day. I'm sure he'd love to just pop this one in as well. It's to be around in 68. All bubbled. Yes, the moment that left the putter face, it jumped in the air. A little bit of a sharp descending blow on that for him. You won't worry too much about that. He'll be delighted with his performance so far this week. And I bet he's really looking forward to coming out and playing tomorrow. Very fine, consistent play there today. Just illustrating the fact there to his caddy that the ball bubbled on the 18th. And as planes roar overhead from the nearby airport, Painter looking quite serene. Els on the 18th, out with the 3-wood. Doesn't want to hit it too far, just needs to coax this down the fairway downwind. And how about that for rhythm? You can't get any smoother than that. And you can't get any better than that. Perfect spot down the left-hand side on the fairway. Els in prime shape. Clark, this to be round in 73. Well done, sir. Take some of the pain out of it. So good finish there for Clark. But just to check what's happening on the leaderboard, it's Riley and Eales. But look who's hard on their heels. Couples, Woosnam and Els. Not seen much of Craig Parry this week, but he's there as well. An Australian golfer, he's at 9 under. And Andrew Coulthard, a few moments ago we saw finish on the 18th. He also at 9. John Daly, well, he was round in 69 pretty early today, to add to his 4 under par overnight total. And Ryder Cup player Howard Clark sneaking onto the leaderboard in joint 13th place. And who would have thought of that at the beginning of the week? Aoki, 53, at 7 under. And Sam Torrance, well, never really got going either this week. Had a bad toe. Seems to be accident prone, Sam, but somehow or other, that's always a good sign with him. Seems to play well so often when he's got an ailment or some sort of trouble. And, well, Sam playing in his 25th year on the PGA European Tour, as in fact the PGA European Tour celebrates 25 years as well. So quite a unique occasion for both of them. And Ollie Carlson prepares to play to the 18th hole, some way back from his illustrious playing partners. Oh, seemed to catch that a little bit heavier as he come across that. No, that came across it but pulled it onto the higher tier in the middle of the green. And just shakes his head. Not quite the day that he was expecting. 26-year-old. Finished 3rd in Jersey last year, 4th in the Madeira Open, 51st on the Order of Merit. And it's this man, Eales, on the 94 Open Extra Madeira. And came close last year to winning the Giro Spagna Open Canaries. Tied with Yarmo Sunderland, but didn't quite make it in the playoff. Els to play first. Smooth 8, maybe 9 iron to the last hole, and doesn't it look good? Hard to believe he's struggled with his game today with a swing like that. Count Eels finish it off. Love to get to 13 under. Unlucky for some, but I'm sure he won't mind. And just pitching into the ridge at the front edge of the green. But that's on, pretty steady. Eels had his best year on tour in '94. Finishing 35th on the money list, just under a couple of £100,000. He would dearly love to win again, and I'm sure his coach, Eddie Birchnoff, is watching up there at Royal Lytham St Anne's, venue of this year's Open Championship, of course. I'm sure they'll be getting the course in very fine order for later this year. And these players approach the 18th hole. Gallery's really been treated to some excellent golf. So good round of applause for Paul Eels. Really come through this round. Said he was looking forward to playing with Els and seeing what he could learn. Maybe it's been a little bit of the other way round. Sure, Els will be thinking, well, last week did have that bad round, came back. Got to put this out of my mind. Just keep playing one shot at a time. I'm sure Carlson is thinking of it. He's also really relishing today. Back in '94, had a pretty serious car accident that kept him out of the game for a good half of the year, and had to play extremely well for the first quarter of the year to retain his car, which he managed to do on £25,000 in the first 8 events, so he could keep his card. And the first to putt on this 18th, Paul Eels. Has all sorts of people to help him. Says he needs to eat 5 meals a day, keep his energy levels high, and certainly in this heat, I'm sure he's had the bananas in the bag. Oh, and that gives you some idea of how much the ball can turn. Certainly at the end of the day, when a little bit of sun and moisture, you can almost see the grass growing, and as it grows, of course, the grain gets a little bit stronger, and that can also turn the ball. So Eels just fooled a little bit by that approach putt. Carlson's got the other one, of course, coming down the slope, left to right. Coming down the shine will be a little bit quicker. Almost going to move right to left quite sharply at the start of this putt, and then move back the other way. It's quite tricky to judge putts like that. Yes, never really got it online. And like a number of players, not easy to get the ball dead round this 18th hole. So Eels left with a testy one, Carlson left with an awkward one as well. Couples 3-putted it earlier on. brother Mats, teaching pro back in Sweden. He referring to go to a different pro for lessons. What can Ernie Els do on the last? Just to finish under par for his round today. Well, he's got it dead and not to be, and I'm glad I'm sure he'll be glad to get into the clubhouse, have a little bit of practice, maybe have a beer, try and put that round behind him, a wry smile. And in some respects, Els will be quite pleased that he's recovered from that really poor start. Round could have almost been anything, but managed to make a few birdies, get it back to level par. Sign of a fine player. Keep in contention when things aren't going your way. Carlson, this for a par. And well holed, bolted it in the hole up the hill. Takes a little bit of the slope out. See all the damage done on the front nine. This to tie Wayne Riley in the clubhouse at 12 under, which he does. So an excellent round from Paul Eales, round in 68. And you can see that eagle on the second hole, birdie on the fourth, got one at 6, and even halves of 34. Excellent golf from the man from Royal Lytham. So as Els, Eales and Carlson leave the 18th green to some warm applause by the people here, we can certainly look forward to a very exciting day's play tomorrow. Eales may lead. Riley may lead, but look who's chasing them. Fred Couples, Ian Woosnam, Ernie Els, they're at 10 under par, and I'm sure they'll have something to say about winning this event. But at the moment, the day certainly belongs to Wayne Riley. He's very fine at 67. And Richard Boxall, who we mentioned earlier, well, he could only manage par over the closing hole, so he tied Robert Willis, 65. So Willis looking like he may get that course record. Well, that is not an American cop. That is, in fact, Greg Norman, arrived today on a Harley Davidson. His friend is a distributor of the motorbikes here in Singapore. And as a friend, he said, "Here, Greg, you want to travel the course? Go in style." A man showing a lot of style was Wayne Riley. This, his chip to the 9th hole. This set up a birdie for him to be out in 32, so nearly an eagle. And could he add a second victory to that Scottish Open title that he won last year on the European Tour? Or could it be this man, Paul Eales? Whatever you do, make sure you get up early tomorrow morning. It's 7 o'clock British Standard Time, 8 o'clock here in Europe for the final round of this, the Johnnie Walker Classic from Singapore. Make sure you join us. Looks like it's going to be a very exciting event. From me, Warren Humphreys, it's goodbye until then.
The PGA European Tour was brought to you by Volvo.